You know, for years, Disney engaged in a campaign to try to cancel Splash Mountain. Not only did they get rid of one of their most popular attractions at two different parks, they also tried to make it so that everyone understood that it was a virtuous thing that they got rid of Splash Mountain and replaced it with Tiana's Bayou Adventure. Well, now it seems a beloved SNL star has come out and said it will always be Splash Mountain to him, and he did it on TV. Let's talk about that on That Park Place. Hello, I am Jonas J. Campbell, an investigative reporter for That Park Place, and here with me is movie connoisseur, Mr. VashSky. Vash, what's the best movie ever?
Best movie ever.
It's Clue. It's Clue. I'm just going to tell you.
It's Clue. Okay.
The one starring Christopher Lloyd.
Oh, all right. I was going to say Back to the Future, but all right.
Well, yeah, that one starring Christopher Lloyd. Okay, we need to move on to the main topic here. Vash, stop distracting us. Okay, so let's talk about Colin Jost. You guys, we saw this tweet out there, and it is hilarious. And I don't mean to do an entire video about a tweet, but it is so funny to me. This from Deservations. In case you missed it, Colin Jost threw out a Tiana versus Splash Mountain hot take on Pop Culture Jeopardy last night. This is apparently a new form of Jeopardy, one of the greatest shows ever made. A show that I often, if I could, I would have a sound machine that lulled me to sleep last night. Overnight of Alex Trebek asking random trivia answers and then being answered in the form of a question. Love the show. But apparently this is a pop culture specific version of Jeopardy, and it looks like they have teams of people. Perhaps this is college pop culture Jeopardy. And Colin Jost from SNL gave an interesting take here from, well, Vash, you've fixed it, so why don't you play the clip?
Absolutely. Here we go.
Disney princesses in therapy for 800.
Are you fulfilling your own culinary dreams or enthralled to your father's? Maybe the new ride about you will ease your burden. Courtney.
Who is Tiana?
That's right, even though it'll always be Splash Mountain to me.
First of all, that's great. I think that's a funny joke on Colin Jost's part, and he's laughing at his own joke, but whatever. I'm not going to give him a hard time for that. He is hosting a trivia show and not SNL, so he's not doing, as Tracy Morgan would say, something called breaking Liz Lemon. Vash, is this something that Disney would chuckle about, you think? Does Disney have a sense of humor about Splash Mountain?
I don't think so. And if they did, they definitely don't have one now, given that Tiana's Bayou Adventure has been nothing but problems for them. And they spent a lot of money on both iterations of that attraction. I think the stories matter definitely doesn't have a funny bone in their body when it comes to Splash Mountain and all of that. But I don't know, maybe some long-term executives maybe have something there to be said. This was the replacement of Splash Mountain has definitely got to be one of the worst decisions ever made. And here's the thing, that's right before probably the absolute worst decision that's ever going to be made, especially regarding the Magic Kingdom in the form of getting rid of Rivers of America for Cars. So it's like, it's a long litany of bad decisions that have come.
They're going one by one to each of the parks and doing something awful to them. With Magic Kingdom, obviously there's this destruction of Splash Mountain. And for those of you who wonder why we're bringing up Stories Matter, this is the Disney sensitivity reader division. Sensitivity reader are those kind of groups are the ones that go through everything in a company's history and try to make sure that inclusive language is used here. This is the page for Stories Matter here, and we'll see if it's been updated here, but it says stories shape how we see ourselves and everyone around us. So as storytellers, we have the power and responsibility to not only uplift and inspire, but also consciously, purposefully, and relentlessly is definitely the right word, champion the spectrum of voices and perspectives in our world. It looks like you can enable audio description on the page, very inclusive of them. If you're going through here, they have tags that they put on things. Variations of the following advisory may appear on content, products, and platforms from the Walt Disney Company. And here is what you now see in front of so many stories, like, and people are always surprised when we say this, Jungle Book, Peter Pan, I want to say maybe, yeah, Lady and the Tramp is included on that list, saying this program includes negative depictions and or mistreatment of people or cultures. These stereotypes were wrong then and are wrong now. Rather than remove this content, we want to acknowledge its harmful impact, learn from it, and spark conversation to create a more inclusive future together. Disney is committed to creating stories with inspirational and aspirational themes that reflect the rich diversity of the human experience around the globe. To learn more about how stories have impacted society, please visit, it's pretty much this website here. But if we're being very specific, even though Disney didn't say this at the time, Tiana's Bayou Adventure is very specifically included in the list of things that they did to try to get rid of things that were not as inclusive, saying we're reviewing our offerings beyond the screen, which includes products, books, music, and experiences, while advisories for negative depiction of people and cultures may be added to some offerings. Others will be reimagined. We are also investing in new ways to better reflect the rich diversity of stories in our world. Work is ongoing and will evolve as we strive toward a more inclusive tomorrow. Progress, you see, Vash, progress. So,
Well,
again, Aristocats. Oh, Dumbo. I forgot about Dumbo, which also included Nick Stewart, who was the voice of Brer Bear in Song of the South here. Oh, of course, Swiss Family Robinson as well. So this is something that Disney actually does here. They have a division that literally polices their own content. And yes, I would put forth I would say that they definitely have no sense of humor about themselves.
no, not at all. And it's so fascinating. If you go back to that page just for a second and you scroll up, you'll see that they use the original artwork provided
That's
for
very
Tiana's
true.
Bayou Adventure, right? That was because that was a sales pitch. That was like, hey, you know what? We're doing this for inclusivity reasons, but hey, it'll be so much better than Splash Mountain could ever be, guys. Don't even worry about it. It's going to be awesome. And then we actually get the ride, and it's like, wow, this is, quote, a necessary downgrade. They don't put that art on there. They don't put a photo of the actual attraction of what we got. No. They post the sales pitch, and this is the kind of smoke and mirrors that kind of the facade here, as it's going to be known, in that they say they're doing this for all the right reasons, and that it's going to be a better world, it's going to be a more inclusive world, and all that. But no. The Stories Matters initiative only just destroys these pieces of art. They don't actually create, even though that's the pitch right here.
Yeah. And there is no big boat on the top on a tree on top of Tiana's Bayou Adventure. She isn't even in that dress. I get it. Oh. It's concept art, but most people would describe the experience there as pretty lackluster. Special Spice, I mean, bless your hearts. It's a song, and it's not dissonant, but it's no zip-a-dee-doo-dah. Also, there's a lot of unfortunate connection to slavery in Louisiana with the way they have decided to set this on a fictionalized version of Avery Island, one of the most horrific sites of slavery in the United States. Also, jokes in the queue about the salt mines being reserved for seasoned veterans. It's one of those things where, it's funny if you have a sense of humor, maybe even a dark sense of humor, to kind of chuckle at what Disney has done here. But the people who have no sense of humor are being a little bit hypocritical in the way that they've handled politics. So Colin Jost, I wonder if there's someone from Stories Matter that would like to like pull Colin Jost over to the side and be like, young man, we need to correct you right now here.
Yeah. It will never be Splash Mountain again. It was always Tiana's Bayou Adventure. By the way, the last point of information to provide for our viewers here, I just actually learned about this story. This was very interesting. Apparently, Tiana's Bayou Adventure at Disneyland has a operating timeline now. Like, this is on the app here. It has a operating hours of 8 to 8. Now, that might not be that crazy in Florida, but remember, Disneyland closes regularly at 10, 11, and 12. So to close an attraction like this, your newest attraction, by the way, it should be peak demand and all kinds of stuff. To close it 4 hours before the park closes. Again, this is earlier than Rise of Resistance closes at Disneyland with all of its labor and everything else associated with it. to have a reduced operating hours for this attraction, even though Splash Mountain never suffered from this, even in the wintertime, even at all times, it never suffered from reduced operating hours. That really tells you the demand and enthusiasm for such an attraction.
Well, and I'll just throw this out here. One of the best times to ride Splash Mountain is during the fireworks. I don't know what that's like at Disneyland, but at Magic Kingdom at Walt Disney World, that was one of the best views. If you were cresting right over that hill, right there at that moment, watching the fireworks right before you take the 52-foot plunge on Splash Mountain, one of the best places in the park to see what is a very spectacular view. Very spectacular. Wow, it's almost like I use words for a living. But that being said, Vash, is there anything else we need to throw in here before we finish this up?
It will always be Splash Mountain. I think Colin got that right there. It'll always, because I don't know. Tiana's Bayou Adventure. I think a lot of people are coming around. Initially, and people were, they saw this image right here, right? They saw the image of the artwork when it was originally debuted, and they said, "Oh, yeah, you know what? This was an awesome idea. Yeah, Splash Mountain. Even the people love it. This is going to be so much better." And there were wars on Twitter, and it really divided the community, because I think there were some that were like, "Yeah, but I can't necessarily really be better than Splash Mountain." But a lot of people got on board with this idea. And then as the reality came into focus, as the ride opened and everybody got their first taste of what a post Splash Mountain world could look like, a lot of people have come around and said, you know what, maybe this wasn't such a good idea. So ironically, they were using this to sell Stories Matter. Now I think a lot of people are using this as a point in time at which maybe Stories Matter has outlived its usefulness.
Yep, I would agree. There seems to be there's a department that was established there, as opposed to there probably just needs to be somebody that says, hey, maybe we don't do this. Maybe we don't do it in this exact way, or accept that maybe there's going to be someone who is always offended at what happens out there. Not offended. I'm just pointing out a little bit of hypocrisy here on the part of Disney, and also hilarious joke from Colin Jost. That being said, do you have any comments on what we've talked about here today? We would love to see them in the comment section down below. Like this video if you like this video, and hey, if you like this kind of news or staying abreast of the situation, consider subscribing to That Park Plays for all the news that should be fun.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media account.